double up, dodging and juking, Sassy! Time is not on their side!
Damage, shot connects though, great out of lead. Can he get another? Absolutely.
Welcome back to day 8 of VCT America's Kickoff, and the last match of the play-ins, it's Sentinels versus G2 Esports. And I'm Geek Happy back at it again with my boys right here, Balla and Wyatt. How y'all doing? I'm surprised I didn't scare y'all away yesterday with all those ridiculous puns I was making.
We had to come back for more, for me personally.
Yeah, no, it was like GB never left. It really did. It was basically the exact same joke, exact same pun.
You know, GB,
I mean, we're used to that.
GH, I mean, you know.
Basically.
Yeah, and now we got G2. We're going to be seeing G2. You know, let's just jump right into it, shall we? Because it's going to be an amazing matchup. Let's talk about what we've seen from these two teams so far today. Sentinels scored a dominant 2-0 win over MIBR, only giving up 13 rounds total. Yeah, now, Tins and Zekken, they performed in game 1, Balla. I think the question I got to ask you is, what the Zek is up with Zekken? Do we need to call some execs to kind of examine what we're seeing from him?
Yeah, this guy was a monster. He was insane. Both you and Zekken. I mean, he was crazy good. And, I mean, they dominated. That's the reason why you had that whole conversation at the end of the last match in the first place, right? It was this series. And Sentinels was firing on all cylinders. This is the level you expect when everybody says they're a tier above everybody in the play-ins, when they're meant to be with that playoff squad that's up there, Loud, NRG, EG, all those teams that are up there right now. It's this type of performance that we needed to see. And honestly, we were kind of expecting throughout the group of death. They lasted so well against those teams.
And in this MIBR game, they went up against an MIBR that was tactically making good decisions.
Yeah.
They were playing well, but
and they still did that.
Yeah, and Sen were doing that, but also, I mean, when you have Tens and Zekken going this crazy, it's a wrap. They go toe-to-toe with any of the best pairing in the world, right? When they're doing that. So if they just keep this up going in against G2 that just played this grueling match coming down to the wire and then losing when you have to play that many rounds is just your mind palace collapses.
Yeah.
They are in trouble if Sen just come off chilling for the last couple hours and just go in with the same type of gameplay. It's looking rough.
I second that. Now, did you see what I just did there? I did it again. I'm not gonna stop.
It's out of control. Day two. He's coming with this out of control.
Anyways, you know what? Let's talk about the opposite side of the fence here with G2. What do G2 need to do here? I think it's safe to say they need to step up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought they were gonna win again that Freeze map, and it just doesn't come through. I think the second half was a travesty from them.
They overcooked it so hard.
Yeah, pretty much. And the thing is, again, all individually, these players are stepping up in moments. I think that split game in particular, I, once again, thought that they were going to pull out. And it's things like Trent, who we haven't really been talking about that much recently. He's a monster, and you can see it in the server, but he's just not quite carrying it over the edge. And in some moments, having crucial errors that causes his team to end up losing. It's people like that need to step up and match Tens and Zekken.
Yeah, you got to look at him. He was the guy for this team forever. When they first broke out 2 years ago.
I thought he was going to get poached, bro.
And he stuck around with this team. You got to be looking at him to step up. It's been 24/7 showing up in Leaf discussion.
Wasn't the rumor last year when we headed into partnership that Trent was going to be on Sentinels? Like, that was a real thing. That was a real rumor.
I forget. It sounds. I'll believe you. Source. Okay. I don't know. You might have made it up, but I'll believe it regardless, I guess.
Yeah. Do y'all remember what Tin said during that interview earlier today?
No. What did he say?
He said that it's going to be easy to go up against G2.
Yeah, I feel like that's a trap, bro. Like, you can't be thinking like that. I know you're Tens and everything like that, but Tens is a humble guy, man. How do you get all this confidence going?
I was blown away when he said that. I was like, because G2 really have just been phenomenal. But let's dial things back. We definitely need to kind of reverse things a little bit. Let's go back and look at the round from the Sentinels MIBR match that I think it had everyone in the arena screaming. It had us breaking furniture in here. It was insane. Like, it was pretty much a buzzer beater, like Saucy, he hit that race. Planet Spike, 2v1 for Artisan.
There's less than a millisecond on that timer.
How did he get that?
It's just absurd. And I'm thinking back to the John QT round 2 yesterday where he just stuck it when the other team was trying to plant and they got the fortune of the plant not going through. Moments like that, I feel like there's magic for Sentinels right now in their run to get to Madrid, potentially at least the playoffs right here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the worst analysis possible, but Sentinels feels like there's a lot of magic. G2, not a lot of magic. The magic has been stripped from their bland world. They're just...
I love it.
They don't have this. This is the worst analysis. Take it away.
Well,
I was about to say something even worse. I was about to give this ESPN horrible psychological take.
Take it away.
Take it away.
Thank you. I will accept it. But I can't believe what you're saying about G2. What do you mean? There's no magic there?
Agree with
I think there's some magic there,
Where's
right?
the magic?
Did you see what they did to the crewman show? They said good night to them.
That was oh my God. Listen, at least honestly, we're bringing a higher level of puns than I'm used to.
Yeah.
If I'm being real, I mean, he's on top of the pun game.
I'm sorry,
Undisputed.
it's just the way my brain works.
Vancilli and GB, old news. They're out. They're out of here. And I don't even know what the hell.
Talk about magic with
the magic. There's no magic. There's no magic.
There's no magic.
We just watched the series.
We've been talking all weekend about how they're winning, but they're losing.
That was
I feel like it's the same thing. I feel like they just lost, so it's the same thing actually.
And even when they were winning in this game against MIBR, and it's not necessarily a knock. MIBR are great. It's not a knock on either team.
Honestly,
but their winning was so labored. It was every round they won, they were clawing for it. There was never a point in any of these maps where it felt easy.
I will say, Akeem, I think there was magic in that last game. I think there was. I think MIBR was actually just better than the rest of the teams that you actually saw G2 play. And so for that, I'm kind of knocking it back. I'm really reevaluating the relative strength between all the different teams. And I don't think it's there right now for G2. They have to step up huge. I mean, this is not even a situation where, the stakes are as high as possible for them.
100%, yeah. And I like being one of the newest... new to the league, I feel like they definitely have a lot to prove, and they've really been pushing the teams that they've gone up against to the limits. We saw double overtime with EG. We saw that earlier today as well. We saw another overtime from them. So I don't know. I feel like they definitely are hungry. But let's switch gears. Let's talk about the IGLs, because the pressure is on for both of the IGLs today, because it's been a long time since their respective teams have qualified for a global event. Paula, how many days has it been since their last qualification game? Break this down for us.
I mean, it's been a while, right? Yeah. For Sentinels, it's all the way back to that old roster, the legendary one back in 2021. For Champions, for G2, it's similar, right? I mean, it's insane. I think it was Masters Reykjavik 2022, so it's been a long time. And that's the thing, too. When you talk about how this team, G2 in particular, is new to the league, that's true. But I was just thinking to myself, that's not what they're thinking about, because for them, they've made it to international tournaments before. They made it to Reykjavik. That's where they ended up getting knocked down and really punched, and they had that amazing run as rookies, but now it's kind of like they're back in that same position, and it feels like they're failing right now, and I think that pressure might be slightly getting to them, or at least creeping into their heads.
It's funny to say failing. It's just because our expectations for them are so high. And even when it doesn't feel like we live in a magical world, it's still that consistent base they have is still keeping them so competitive with these teams that we're really getting a lot of respect for, like MIBR, right? And that's just the base. That is what the foundation they've built over, the last 700 days since that qualification. So.
Yeah, well, you know what? Today, we've got a great head-to-head matchup. The veteran Saucy versus Jonah P, who's been playing just freaking out of his mind, but I think he had to have been in his mind, because he was pretty laser focused at times, right? What would you say?
I mean, Jonah has still been the best player for me for G2 in this tournament. I mean, you could argue lead back and forth. It's one of the others. They've both been fantastic, but big respect to Jonah. And on the other side, listen, it really tells the tale of how crazy Sen were earlier, that they finally broke the Saucy never wins on Sova curse. It finally happened. That's how good they were today. Saucy has been great this tournament, too.
Yeah,
there was always some criticism towards this guy, but
I feel like it's been a resurgence for him, honestly.
For sure.
I think every time they play Ascent, they finally got that win today. I feel like he's been stomping with that Odin. I think he's been really holding it down in the anchor position. And I think matching up against Jonah P here, I rate the tech for Jonah P, especially on like Sunset or something like that.
Yeah.
But I rate the firepower for Saucy. This guy is always like, I don't know, man. He's one of those guys that you watch him play and you look at the aim and stuff like that, and you're like, what the heck? How? It doesn't look that he doesn't look that good, but then he has like 30 kills. You know what I mean? That's Saucy in a nutshell for me. And he is at that level, or higher than the 2022 like loud type of thing. He's at least equal to that, and that is fantastic. That's what they needed all last year, to be honest. But it's the role stuff that went through. It's all the changes that really held him down, I think, last year. Yeah,
so now, because again, we're pitting these two against each other. Look at them, they're huge. Now, I got to ask you both, who do you got, right? Because do we think Saucy's going to be saucing all over the competition in this match, or do we think Jonah P is going to... Can I say?
No. Whatever you're going to say, don't say.
What? I
don't know. The fact that you paused yourself, I'm just trying to save you. It's day 2. I got to go with Saucy.
Okay.
Jonah's sick, but...
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with Saucy as well. This guy is a beast. Jonah P is somebody who's also a beast, but Saucy is like a little bit more consistent, I'd say. Right? I think just round by round, he's getting value. I think for me, if I'm IGLing against Saucy, that guy is, I'm never going to his site, honestly. That's the type of thing I'm doing. Whereas Jonah P, I'm like kind of working around it.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely have to wait and see. Now, G2's core have played together for years. Earlier, we sat down with Leaf to talk about what it's like to join such a tight-knit squad.
It's always going to be different to join a new team with new people that you're not really familiar with. Just knowing like the little things about them and the little things about them as a player and how they are as teammates, basically. It's just about finding your place in the team.
A lot of players about to be meeting each other. It's all Leaf in the feed, fills up with red.
So fitting in Leaf into the team was a bit of a slow process, I would say. Some of his tendencies or game style was a bit different from ours. He was just more aggressive player, took more risks, and maybe slight over peaks here and there. Maybe on his previous rosters, he had to do more, be kind of like that X factor. And so we're trying to keep that aggressive, confident style in him, but also integrate it into our like very structured system. What made us so good in Challengers was that we kind of fit like a glove. Everyone trusted each other to just get the job done as a team and not individually. And so for Nate to come and fit in, I would say he had to understand like our process and our vision on the game and how he doesn't need to make like some of these big plays, or he doesn't need to take the extra peek or whatever, and just trust that we're gonna win together.
Push together, push together.
50 health. Dark with the back, double face.
Let's go, Nate.
G2, pull that one from the break.
So far, I have nothing but great things to say about him. I think he's an incredible player, incredible teammate. I don't think he gets enough credit for how skilled and how great he is.
I think under the structure of G2, under everyone's support, you're gonna see that this guy could easily be the best player in the world.
Well, there you have it, a little bit more on Leaf. What are our thoughts here at the desk on Leaf?
Yeah, I mean, best player in the world is a tall thing, but I think he was up there last year in the conversation. I think absolutely throughout the Cloud9 run with Americas, he was insane, and people were putting him with Aspas. Like, literally, that was the two people I think we were talking about throughout the regular season.
Yeah, they were the two best statistically duelists, basically, all of last season.
Until, like, Demon 1 entered the conversation during playoffs in Tokyo and so on and so forth.
And the fact that Cloud9 just got, they got knocked out barely by NRG at the end of the season, not going to the international events. You didn't get to see that actual Leaf versus international teams that are really good, so you could give them that spot.
I mean, to be fair, we have seen in the past, though, right? I mean, the guy has gone to Champions events in the past, and he's been an absolute beast, carrying in some instances. That's like what I remember the most from him at these international runs. So, yeah, I think Valen's praise matches up very well. I think he's fitting great.
Yeah. Not only that, but, I mean, his team, Valen's team, has given him a lot of praise as well. I mean, we sat down with Net yesterday, and he called him possibly one of the best IGLs in Americas. Yeah. And I don't know if he threw, so he might have thrown a little shade on Sadak. I don't know.
It was actually respect.
The internet's been talking.
Respect.
The streets been talking. So
because he said Valen was the best IGL in Americas, and then he was like, well, actually, Sadhawk's really good too. So it was respect to Sadhawk. Well deserved respect.
Yes, I think. Well, then we need to clear that up on the streets then, because the streets they speaking ill on my man's Net. But anyways, you know what? Let's talk about what's at stake for Sentinels here. Now, it doesn't get more clear-cut. Now, if they win only one map, now they're in the playoffs. Yep. Just like that. Now there's 18 round differential in favor of Sentinels, and Sentinels are, but they're two maps. There's a 2-map differential. G2, I'm not good with numbers.
No, that's been a struggle.
I'm trying to understand this. I mean, because
the situation
we definitely need
is,
to provide some context with
this. The situation is Sentinels win one map and they're through. And that's because of tiebreaker rules and a 3-way tie.
Right.
Because MIBR just won. Like, they're still in that tiebreaker, but they can't win because of the map differential. That's basically how it goes down to it. But if G2 win 2-0, they also could be through. So there's definitely some things that are that needed to be clarified, and I think the players need to know, and I think we understand now exactly how this is going to go down. Basically, I mean, Sentinels just needs to win one map, and so it's easier for them. I think when you think about that conversation between them, they just took a big break, they got to watch the game, blah, 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 knowing that it only takes one map. I mean, that's just good prep on one map, for example. So that could be exactly what they put all their time and energy in. And so, like a map veto, something like that could really change the things.
Yeah, 100%. And I think G2 needs to take a bigger mental reset than MIBR had to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's almost easier to, like, when you kind of just get smoked, and it's like, all right, well, their best players are they're having one of those days. You can reset from that. Even so after, they're like laughing, whatever. But when you're playing a grueling game, you barely lose. There's all those little moments, you're like, oh my God, if I just hit that one shot in that one situation, those type things, that can be the mental difference maker where it's tough to come back from.
Yeah, like I gotta say that coming off of that, I mean, I guess it was a loss. Like how do you kind of like reset mentally though?
Yeah.
When you're in a situation like that.
I mean, you've been in these situations in terms of fighting against other teams like this before. You have experience against big teams like Sentinels. You have experience actually qualifying. So this is a big game now. This is that moment where like it doesn't really matter strategically what you're doing as long as you're going head to head with the calls of the other IGL. It's all about individual performance in these big games, and that's what this is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you were talking about that net quote talking about Valen's IGLing, and I think, listen, that is a common sentiment that he's definitely one of the best IGLs in America. If this team didn't end up here, I mean, you better know good and goddamn well a lot of teams wanted to sign Valent to be their IGL for VCT. But I will say, at the end of that Breeze game, I think G2 should have won that. I think they hard overcooked their attack side. They were trying to do way too much. So I need to see Valent reel it back a little bit, get his head back in the game, and I think that could be the key factor for them.
Now, quick predictions. Who do we think is going to take this one?
I'm with Sentinels here.
Sentinels?
I agree with you about the end of the map last time. I think G2 has been kind of weak in some instances, and Sentinels just looks fantastic. So I'm with Sentinels.
Okay. All right. Wyatt?
Sentinels.
Well, that makes 3 of us that say Sentinels. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sentinels as well.
It's an easy pick, I think, but also I think the right pick.
Yeah, but I love the underdogs. But anyways, I think it's time. It is almost time. We're ready to get into our final match. So let's send it down to the stage for team walkouts.
This is it, the final match of play-ins. Let me hear you make some noise for your Ascension champions, G2! Let's bring out their opponents. Make some noise for Sentinels!
well, let's check out the map pool. This is exciting stuff. Again, like we all said that we all voted for Sentinels to win.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, the map pool can change things.
Wow, Sunset in G2. I'm shocked.
That's crazy.
Whoa, that's crazy, you guys. Oh my God. Again?
It is ridiculous. It is getting ridiculous
Again?
because it's maps that they haven't won. They haven't been flawless on Sunset. I really don't understand what the priority is here for them. But I also don't think that they have as many options to go for. I think in the MIBR series, they had a lot more, right? But here against Sentinels has been pretty flawless throughout the entire tournament, especially that last series that they had. So there's not a place where there's a major weakness for Sentinels to go for right off rip. But for Sentinels, I think they are going for a weakness. I think that Breeze pick right away is exactly what Kaplan, I think, is starting to get known for me, is good map vetoes.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, he crushed it yesterday against Lev, doing it again right here. I mean, 2 solid first maps. Sen have been loving Sunset as well. This Sunset has looked really good. Yeah, it is worrying. Perhaps the biggest detractor from G2 right now is that their map pool really does seem pretty limited. I mean, they are just going back to the same 3 or so over and over and over.
Yeah, and I mean, they're sort of using the same comps as well. Like, we're not necessarily expecting to see anything out of the ordinary with these maps.
No, yeah, I mean, this is stuff that they've been practicing for quite a while. Yeah. It's not enough time to change anything unless they somehow came up with like a counter to what Sent does, but I don't think they're a team like that, so I don't expect it at all. One thing that I think is interesting here is I actually think that G2, tell me if you disagree, but I think G2 is a pretty emotional team when it comes to momentum, when it comes to trying to, bring comebacks back into play. And I think games like this tend to that. So, my Sent prediction aside, I think that a team like G2 right here, right now, it doesn't really matter what has happened before. If they can really get into the game, get fired up, Net in particular, somebody who I think is, we talked about it yesterday about being pretty emotional, Valen as well, I think when he's feeling the game, it comes to him. So that momentum could ride on them just getting really hyped, really into the fact that they could actually still make it here.
Yeah. So you mean tend to that in regard to like if they come out the gate hot and start winning early rounds?
Not necessarily, but just like somebody gets, the stakes are enough to sometimes spark that, is what I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
And look at what we got. Look at the agent selects.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Interesting. Saucy Gecko?
Yeah, this is crazy, actually. This is what they've been playing at all recently. This is insane that they're able to switch it up. And actually something that I think I was talking to Kaplan recently about not having enough time to change things away from the sky. Looks like they finally have enough time here, but on play-in day is crazy. That's a big gamble, but I love it. When they only need that one map, that is crazy.
It is. This is the map, too, where Tens gets really silly. This is the one where he gets so silly on the
dude, I could already see it. The Dizzy Flash flying, the TP going through.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, it is time to get into our final play-ins match of the day. So let's send it on over to our casters. Riot Games Arena, make some noise. It's Mimi and Ender.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have an interesting one on our hands. Here's the situation. Sen City, you win, you're in. That's it. But there's more. If they win any one of these maps by a +9 differential, there's no way G2 can make it. They're playing for the 2-0 today.
And for G2, the only guarantee is a 2-0. You do not want to leave it up to the rounds. They are down 18 rounds coming into this series, the difference between them and Sentinels.
This is the rivalry that has never really happened. These orgs always talk back and forth to each other. But the last time these two teams played, Shroud was on Sentinels, Shazam was on Sentinels, G2 was the guard. It's been a while, and this match matters. Only one last slot in the playoffs.
Yeah, that was back in 2022, but this is what it all comes down to. Sentinels trying to break their way into B main really early on. And you can see the utility forcing G2 out of that space, denying them control.
This Gecko KO comp, a surprise that G2 is going to have to contend with in a game where they have to win every single map to keep their hopes alive.
Check out that camera placed in mid by John QT as well. A lot of control going to be around there for him. The Sentinels work their way back into B main.
Sen site hits are really strong with these double flash combinations. And with 4 players primed in main, B will be the destination.
G2 got a lot of friends here ready to go. A Paranoia ready to go as well. Balanced position, back in sight.
Cover going out.
Smoke out, Paranoia in from both sides. Briefly, Sentinels will be stalled out with the cages up, but still a second wave utility ready to go from Celsius.
Now already, Net on the move, taking some space back into mid. I believe the market door is closed on him, so with 40 seconds left, do Sentinels go in or do they choose to pivot?
With that cam in mid, they do still have opportunities to head back. The issue is this player stuck in mid. Net.
30 seconds
How much
left.
can he achieve? He hears so many players on the other side of that wall, and they're walking straight past him.
No!
Net, he's lost the opportunity. Now stuck out, flashed up by Celsius, but he still wins the duel.
It is all good. Now Sentinels moving into the B site. Satchel in to bring it down. Wingman falls, but Jonah P can't get
10
the job
seconds
done.
left.
G2 aren't done yet from backside. Leaf already coming around the corner, looking for the planter, and he takes down Saucy.
A huge kill out of him. 2v3 now. And Nat activated for the second layer of this one. Around the corner he comes, and down they go. G2 went out in the chaos.
Look, Mimi, that was about as shaky as it gets. Net misses a shot but recovers, finishes off at the end as well. But it's important to remind you, every single round G2 get here matters to the differential at the end.
It absolutely does. And that's just how they would want to start this game off. Net has been so good throughout this event thus far. In play-ins here already today, showing us some big moments.
The way he's locked down the site, the way he's played in the clutch off of his teammates, fantastic. Cool little play there from VALORANT. He was doing it all earlier today where he's throwing a temporary one-way smoke, putting that Omen orb up in the sky so it falls down, blocks off the vision, but not going to stall out Sentinels. They can go ahead and toss out the Dizzy, reclaim it very quickly.
I mean, it's stuck. Maybe not going to get it back in this round, but generally that will be the idea.
Yeah, that guy's supposed to land behind the sign. I think it went all the way over to the left.
Back over towards A goes Sentinels.
Yeah, ideally they have a ton of ability to counter out all the stall G2 have because they are going for the KO. That knife, that ultimate going to be so effective. So Trent's actually getting in front of his utility. Wanted to take that fight, stall them out. Sentinels really stalled out in the last round and it cost them. Now, again, Leaf stepping on forward for the kill. That is easy for him. Running out of bullets, though, is good for the second, but we'll go for the chip damage before he falls.
And then it stalls, and there's just no way they can get that gun picked up. But now, one player has vacated from G2, forced to back away. So that Spectre is somewhat recoverable if they could get past that one way. No, instead, back through elbow into A.
Yeah, but I mean, the smokes here are non-stop. Jonah P's ready to cast that dart the second people try to come out from the smoke. Just give a line for Trent to shoot off of. Shock dart down. We're down to absolutely no time.
Somewhat of a repeat of that first round. They come down to the clock yet again. Jonah does not win that over Zekin, but Trent, the insurance policy on this site, will swing at just the right time and keep this one under control. Still, an absurd amount of damage.
Yeah, that is really annoying for G2. Not losing rifles, probably having to take a full bonus into this next one without much of a chance to fight back. Although it does show you, again, the major strength of G2's comp. I mean, the orb stall that they're able to put down in that choke from Trent, the way they put the one-way over on the other side here on top of that box too. Paranoia's on front as well. So Sentinels are going to have to pick up the pace and try to maybe attack with these KO knives. They need to spot out that Viper who's always playing back slant. Trent has been pretty readable on that line, so even a knife that hits right against that wall should do the trick to turn off his orb.
Same util sequence to clear out B main. And into mid, Zekin goes quite quickly here. He's actually going to attempt fake up through mid, flash on one side, and he sneaks through. That is a cheeky smoke for Sen.
Yeah, even the camera doesn't end up seeing him. There's a fight in main, though. Look at that. Pinching through from market as well. Sentinels getting all the kills they could need. Jonah P has done some crazy things this tournament, though.
And he's got a gun. He's got everything he needs to make a meal of this one. 3 kills. That might have been enough. Zekin now pushing towards spawn. One of his own connected. And he'll spray down the other.
You've got to remember, it has been a long day for Sentinels. They came in, what, 5 hours ago? Won their first series 2-0, no problem. And then they have to sit through an OT, a 3-map series, waiting for this game and get themselves warm again.
There's a trade-off, though. You get to watch your opponent's VOD, you get to go against an opponent who hasn't had that time to cool down, but also, G2's in a position where they can kind of keep some momentum they may have had from that first series. despite the loss.
Yeah, I think the main win here is, well, actually check that out, following the ult all the way in. Good scouting, breaks the tripwire there as well. And that's going to cause big rotations from G2 in.
Sentinels have been aggressive in their mid control thus far, and it sets them up for another hit into B. These defenders just keep getting overwhelmed. Leaf is down, and Second has deep control on B.
Valen with the paranoia, but Saucy shuts him down. Another counter flash too, with Thrash following on top of it. Sentinels in firm control, and coming around the corner is Second.
I love the way they're ping-ponging in this round. At first, it's the hit through market, then it's the players popping out through main. Then in that second sequence, they have another layer to the rounds ready. It's clear that Sentinels have put a lot of time into the ideas behind this comp.
Yeah, and especially coming into G2, if Sentinels continue this very high-paced style of gameplay, you know, where they can burn through some of that stalling utility early, they can force the rotates to come in, it will really punish G2. G2 want to play slow rounds. They stall you out, maybe they walk out into you in mid and look for a fight there, but it's very hard for G2 to have very aggressive set pieces on defense. Their only blind is a paranoia.
Now we start to see another one of the strengths of this comp. They just used Thrash on Saucy's Gecko, and in this next round, they're gonna have Second with the Showstopper online. You have a lot more ultimates that just get you free space on site compared to the comp G2 runs.
Yeah, and unlike a lot of the other comps that run Breach, where you're working on like a 40-second timer for your hits, with the Gecko, you throw out your Dizzy, you pick it up, 10 seconds later, you're throwing it again. You can really move in quickly. They take market and are instantly moving into the next space. G2 going for a big B stack on this eco.
B has been the destination pretty much every round thus far for Sentinels.
And G2 in all their ecos earlier today were also going for these B trap plays. Got a paranoia ready to go on this fight.
Second is down, and Leaf converts onto a second there. Showstopper up!
Huge!
On the top, that is 10's taken care of.
Hold on, look at this. They've got Spike in main as well. That is brutal. All of a sudden, up mid, JungQT is going to have to try and find a lurk. And, well, Zelsis deals with the Cypher on the opposite end, and it shuts off the camera. There was a camera there that didn't see the Cypher, and he's found a timing. He's going to be back in Boba so quickly.
Trent has to police this. If he loses his life back sight, then suddenly these players holding Spike are pinched from two angles, and it gets dangerous. John misses his mark. So now Zelsis placed in a 1v3.
And the stall there is permanent. Yeah, I can force him off the angle. How about that? The flash over the top brings it down to 2.
He can get this Spike now.
There's a decent amount of time as well. Check this out. G2 assume he gets the Spike and are already moving Trent over towards the A side of the map.
They're splitting up though.
And they saw Trent back behind Pillar, so if he slips into elbow before Zelsis gets here, that'll never be expected.
Trent hears the footsteps. He knows Zelsis is coming. Is Zelsis ready for this? Does he have any idea Trent's just on the other side? How has he done that? Zelsis! Now down to the 1v1, but he's getting flanked. Is he aware? Knife up! Oh! Zelsis! It's unbelievable!
Sen City up on their feet for that one. Could you believe it? That was an unwinnable round. Zelsis somehow with the Red Bull clutch. I mean, the flash there, finding Leaf on his own in main. That kill's
no
simply
way
absurd.
He should be beating Trent there. And he's 1 HP for the last fight.
Unbelievable.
We're straight back into it though. Sentinels again putting a priority on taking control in mid, setting up for a beast, but it's fast. Rocket invested. Second in his face is Leaf, but down he goes. He's lined him up. 3 kills already. He's blind, but he wants more. 10's on the other side, taken care of. And Jonah falls, but is he done enough? 3v2, Zelsis on the floor. Saucy's in trouble.
One enemy remaining.
Oh no. Saucy's been revealed. They know completely. Here it comes. G2 all around the corner. An important equalizing round there, because look, Sentinels win that ridiculous round and they come out of the gates with the showstopper. That's one where if the G2 lose that, you're hitting the timeout button immediately.
Yeah.
You have to reset. The fact they win it is critical.
But this comp for Sentinels, they lose that round, investing 2 big ults. Thrash is back. they have so much staying power on that attacking side with this ult economy being so strong.
Yeah, they have 3 big old site clearing ults. You have got to respect. And I love Sentinel's read so far. Pretty much every round, it's just been putting this early camera into mid. Full information there because they know G2 never play this angle. The only way G2 actually play mid is like an op holding from there in the hands of Leaf. And then maybe walking out with a drone deep in the mid round, but that camera gives them such effective information.
This knife has also been getting so much value. 2 players revealed in market. Saucy sends Thrash in, and they know site is completely clear, even bringing it all the way back around for a recovery.
Valen used the ult to teleport over. G2 wanting to pick up the pace on this a bit. Heavy play through market on the retake.
Second is ahead of the smoke, but he is taken care of. TenZ did trade that back, so it stays even in this post plant. Hunto's Fury, that's Jonah P, sending it in from mid. He gets a tag on Saucy as his teammates start to enter the site. Cage up for TenZ. He needs to make something of this position, and his teammates all will come in to assist. Oh, but in main, Saucy's down. Now TenZ has to activate. It really comes down to this man, but he couldn't spin around in time, and now Celsius is late. Could he do it again? The 1v3, Jonah holding the spray, whiffing, but Trent off the spike. Flash around the corner. It's halfway. Can Celsius isolate a fight? Can he take down Leaf? No! They stick it through. And G2 take the lead of this one again.
I feel like we all need a big breather here. You can see how tense the moment is, I think, for the players when these fights are going down, full committing to sprays. They know so much is riding on these individual rounds. And you only have 30 seconds in between to take that quick little pause. TenZ getting his on the site was absolutely massive, but a little bit tough with that position. 2 players alive for Celsius. Not gonna happen when they're already halfway on the spike. We're quick in A though.
We always are. Not a break in this one. Second up to Elba. This is the first real time that Sentinels have straight up tested an A hit.
Knife hit Valen. No paranoia, but it's already back up. The hit isn't coming in quick enough for Sentinels. They're all blind. They're all blind.
Valen, how is he doing this? Sen is completely cut off from the rest of their team. Saucy gonna try and save this one. Molly doesn't affect Valen at all. He can just keep on fighting, keep on fragging. Shut down G2.
The theory of the Sentinels comp should be so good, especially the KO shutting off the Cypher Trips, the Viper Gas, all of that, the Paranoia. But they weren't able to go in quickly enough. The fact the Paranoia came online and they didn't punch forward in that 8-second window they had, that cost them the round. TenZ is teleporting in fully nearsighted. Same thing for Zekin. And that's the perfect hold G2 are known for. Their A side is rock solid.
So Kaplan hits the pause button now.
Everybody chill out, take a deep breath. We got a lot of game left to go.
And Sentinels, they don't have to worry about the rounds. They don't have to worry about any funny business in this. They just have to win the series.
Yeah, literally the simplest thing for both these teams is Sentinels just win, G2 win by 2, or win 2-0, and the rounds don't matter. We don't have to bust out the calculators. I don't want to have to bust out the calculators. I want a clean win from one of these teams.
So how does Sentinels turn this attack half back in their favor?
Honestly, I think they can go back to the mid control just a little bit. And also a little bit more awareness when they are hitting the sights. The last round, I'm scratching. They just needed to speed up off of the knife. But all things considered, one of the other great benefits of the wingman against G2 style of play is G2 love to play off-site and fast flood retake into you. Wingman planting the spike means you can keep 5 guns at the ready to fight G2 as they come in. I think this game and this map is very much just about the post plants between these two teams on this half of the game.
And in these post plants, I'm going to continue to look at these 2 initiators. Can Celsius and Saucy put down the right nades in the right places and keep their guns up to delay these floods that G2 loves? Zekin, fast again. That is a beautiful flash for him to follow, but it's only 1 for 1.
Fantastic. Again, the knife shut down. TenZ getting silly. It's a sheriff in his hand.
I know exactly where you are.
Does he just wait for this to come down? Oh no. Cypher revealing G2.
The man refuses to move. When does he take his time and paranoia up? Swing at that! TenZ! It's a TenZ moment, baby! He doesn't miss those. 3v2 though. G2 still have a shot at this. Net, oh, he's stuck out in the open, catches the trip. John Cutie takes him down, and Trent's tagged too.
John is so sick for dropping that trip in the post plant. Ruining G2's day, Trent. What can he do? Everyone's isolated here. But no one's giving him an angle. It's planted for all three of them.
No chance. Sentinels, what a reply. That flash play into elbow was beautiful to start the round.
It wouldn't be a Sentinels game without at least 5, 6, 7 thrifty rounds.
Yeah.
Both ways. Sentinels always keeping it interesting here. That was, of course, a great paranoia, playing off his own teammates that had wrapped through elbow. But really, the hero, you called it out, was that early flash. I think that's a Zelsis flash going through the window all the way over here that hits those players. You don't play against KO every day.
I don't think Zekin has had a round where he doesn't start by double satcheling. This one's not gonna be
another
different.
one.
He's already into
He's under the door.
Off it catches Net, but he gets away.
Oh, there was an Omen ult. Tens went all the way back there. It got canceled out at the last moment. We're still walking forward. Zekin's still looking. There's a one-way over in the spawn that Balin's staring into.
This is a wild round.
What?
He's in a crossfire, but he still finds a kill. What have I just witnessed?
Sentinels came in and they said, we are going to run down G2. They're down multiple rounds and they're still doing a double satchel every round. The Omen ult dive. G2 have had the luxury, I think, of playing against a lot of teams that like to chill out on Sunset. That is not the Sentinels' motto.
I mean, they were just playing crew on this map. Maybe the slowest attack side you could play against. What a difference.
Sentinels used those VODs and they used them to find the gaps. G2 gonna walk straight into that tripwire. Flank is revealed, and was that a showstopper?
It was, and it is gone. 1-for-1 trade. And G2 now working on this retake. Tens in position on the site, and John QT a 1v1 towards spawn.
This fight is everything. Whether or not John can come out on top. Trent is low, and he sees the foot just jiggling it. Look at the movement on Trent.
It's beautiful, but John still has a chance. Molly at his feet. He needs to work quickly. He's taken care of. Up to Tens. First shot is beautiful, and he'll teleport away. Find a new position, a new angle. Jonas low! And Trent has to hold this one to half. Tens has such little ammo. He's sticking the reload. Trent is on the spot. Can Tens get him off? No! Trent holds his nerve. And G2 win the round.
What are these rounds?
It's ridiculous.
Every single one a nail biter. Can we talk about Trent for just a second, though? He was playing with his food.
I mean, can we talk about the beginning of that round?
No, too many things happened. I've already forgotten.
Okay, Sentinels. What's the approach this time? Back to this B main default. This time, Second not investing into mid.
I think their prep has told them that G2 really only did the aggressive.
Hold on, look at main.
You're so right.
Tens is up in a smoke, and G2 is getting mighty close to the man. Smoke fades, and Leaf was ready for it.
Yeah, Leaf was not fooled at all. That was bad. Sentinels, luckily for them, they have some kind of a presence in B main, but they still have to burst out into the site somehow. One of the rare rounds Zekin didn't use the paint shells, and that's because we got the rocket to zoom on into market, taken down by Net all the way back in spawn.
John QT in mid. Taken care of as well. Leaf has found 2 massive kills in this round. Comes to desperation. Sassy. What can the world champ get done? Already finds 1 kill. Now into the 2 versus 4. And Celsius, another tough spot. 1v3. Trent close. Swinging him dinked. That's damage, not a kill. He needs something now. Trent taken care of. But there will be no more funny business from Celsius. G2 clean up the retake.
Leaf finding Tens up in the sky there. Just crazy. Completely read him. Let's look at that. Yeah, it wasn't even a flick. Just fully prepared. There was also a paranoia coming out on the ground in case he was playing down there. So Leaf was never going to be in trouble.
7-4 up now for G2.
I'm afraid for their voices. This could be a 6-game day for G2.
Yeah, The energy's still high for them.
Even after the loss, 2 nail biters up against MIBR.
And honestly, after looking not in their best form in that last map, so many mistakes made on Breeze to let that game slip away. But they're back here and looking much stronger on Sunset against Sentinels.
Again, very common look from G2. We've got cages on the site for Cypher to play around, in theory, or buy time for Sen. The camera there as well. The rest of the team playing heavy off. And they can look for some things. They have Hunter's Fury in the post plant. They can scout with Valen to counter it out.
Zelsis has null command.
That's the most important thing. That's why Cypher doesn't want to be anywhere near his utility.
If they contact all the way up elbow, he might actually be close enough to get caught.
And that's the read, though. Like G2, they're almost always either playing aggressive up A main or giving it completely.
Here's 2 ults committed into the A tape. Jonah P will try and counter from the other side, but just not finding connections. What happened to Zelsis? Maybe just killing himself to try and get HP back?
Not quite sure. I think Valen might have had the high angle back from spawn here. But regardless, Zelsis gets picked up, no problem.
Flash towards spawn. Saucy in a bit of a one and done here. He is taking some risks, but has his teammate up above to aid. That's 10. This dude
Thrash again. That's a huge one.
Second, close corner. Stinger spraying. It's Saucy to pick him up instead. He finds 2 kills. Jonah back into the side. They come. Leaf for 1, 2 versus 2. John QT's position revealed. Zelsis takes down Jonah, and the time, it's almost gone. Leaf. There should be no way he doesn't stick it. Is there enough? It comes down to the wire. Does he have it?
Yes!
Barely.
.09 to finish out the half.
And after a strong start for Sentinels, that is an 8-4 finish up for G2.
The Red Bull clutch from Leaf at the end, tracking John QT behind the box. You could not have asked for a better start.
From G2. I feel like, we have it wrong though? I mean, a little bit. I mean, like, the primary cardinal sin you could commit is choosing the same comp that you've chosen prior on Sunset. Sentinels, they came out with, two new agents that we haven't seen them use with their comp, but I don't know, G2, they've been just like, own it.
I'll tell you, it's been big moment after big moment after big moment, and this is what I was talking about. Net, like, for example, getting the hype, talking trash.
Yeah, at the end, you saw the camera, he was standing up, talking, screaming the trash talk.
Absolutely.
And that's what they needed. I mean, it was what you were saying. The mental, getting back into it in that way.
Momentum,
they did.
Being able to be hype. I think this team is an emotional team. I don't think that they've had reason yet to feel that pressure enough. Right now, it's all there. They have to be flawless against Sentinels here. And so every single big moment that they're winning is just powering them. And you can see everybody's getting hype about this. I think, too, one thing that, you're thinking about when you're thinking about that whole storyline, right, that aspect of G2, is Sentinels is giving them these moments, constantly putting themselves in clutch situations where it's 2v2, 2v1, whatever, giving opportunities to Zelsis to clutch, and that is allowing them to get so hype.
Yeah, I mean, that was a nasty clutch from Leaf at the end, but it's not just that. It's been the whole half. He had a beat on TenZ, that one round where he took him out early.
He's always TPing in the same spot.
I know, they were reading him so hard, taking him out. They couldn't hit sights, so yes, looking good.
Well, let's get the second half underway. Back to our casters, Mimi and then Ender.
Thank you very much. The first half, very much defined by chaos, but for both teams, this is their chance to reset the energy and close this one out.
Sen City's not gonna let them. It is loud in here. But G2's attack will be completely different to Sentinels. They've gotta take their time.
But you see some of the tricks Sen has in the playbook. Double flash out into mid, full re-clear of that space, and this Dizzy will be recovered.
Yeah. Of course, as soon as they go out into mid, that opens up the A site. So G2 will get that plant off. Check out this
Sentinels and the set retakes they can have with this flash-heavy comp.
Yep, Zelsis gonna get crazy with though. Dizzy goes out, Paranoid to follow too, but G2 all off site.
That they are. And that wingman can help in these chaotic post plants. Second on the tap. Already found one frag. G2 just trying to spam away to take care of this one. Satsi, he's holding it down now. Jonah doesn't have enough HP to fight. It leaves it all on net. He's already dinked, and Zekin closes the deal. Beautiful retake for Sen City.
That's a big one for Sentinels. And G2 already, I'm seeing that they're going to need to make some quick pivots. They played full off-site. And while, yeah, enemy team has those flash combos, it's brutal. The fact is, G2 don't really have many ways to get themselves back through if they ever get smoked off. So if TenZ is alive in a post plant, G2 need to get active, need to seek out early space. And that is really the limitation of their comp, especially when they're committing the paranoia to the hits.
B main fight from both squads. And 4 suppressed on that knife. G2 harvest up the orb and will reset. Back towards mid.
Looks like Saucy worked his way all the way up through A main. Didn't quite catch if he picked up the orb, but getting Thrash online early is so big. Yeah, easy pick in mid. We've got this camera here too, which is so annoying, just looking for any kind of lurk. So as they walk on into the smokes, Sentinel's gonna make quick work of G2.
Yeah, great control in the backside here. On QT, actually loses out to Valen, but the trade is there quick enough, and Sentinels get the defuse.
My biggest concern for G2 looking here, as they will have the buy, is how do they burst through? Okay, what are we looking at here? Camera on the opposite. Oh no! Oh no!
The poor guy just watched it happen to him.
Bro's just like your classic little film guy trying to take a pretty picture in mid, and then a grenade comes out of the corner.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday! Shout out this guy. I prefer him to that guy.
Great take. G2 first rifle round of this half for them. And as expected, they are starting really slow, trying to feel out any aggression that this double flash comp will bring.
TenZ is going to be ready on a paranoia on that line. The second contact is made here. But G2, really, the way you categorize their attack is mainly through walking into mid and looking for a pick. And a lot of elbow walks try and pinch into that A site, led by the Sova drone more often than not. The fact they've gotten into market, a little surprising, but this camera here will be broken and spots out Leaf.
Sentinels have to be really cautious of any of these pops through mid. Leaf loves kind of pathing through, similar to what we saw from Zekin in that first half.
That'll be a big deal for them. Fortunately for Sentinels, all playing off-site right now, no kill trips or anything like that to work with. Just the one right next to John QT to make sure no one comes up on his drill.
Spike planted.
Paranoia to re-clear market.
Uh-oh.
John QT somehow pulls that one off. The drip is doing everything. 1 trip, 2 kills. Down to 3 for G2. Can they keep this round in their control? Second has the ult. He is fully cleared out sight. But can the rocket find a connection? No. Misses in main. Just a stinger for him to work with, but Trent is blind, and he's knocked off to one side. Finds his kill. TenZ up above, the reflank finally coming in, but Saucy's found it down to half. It's only Trent. And on the other side of the smoke, a stinger is waiting! And Sentinels, they win their bonus in the second half.
Who would win? 2 professional VALORANT players or 1 silly tripwire? It's the tripwire. That's all John QT walked into the round with. That and a sheriff, and it got him 2 kills.
Ridiculous. Even besides that trip, it really comes down to the retakes with this comp, because that's the whole reason that trip is even there. Stop them from getting into sight, and then you can flood with double flashes.
And that smoke that goes onto the sign in main, they're so annoying. You can see, because the center of it is raised, there was no way to walk out of it without getting shot.
Another upside of that Gecko, being able to cycle that Dizzy in A main. You have a lot of info with this comp.
Yeah, check your watch. 10 seconds later, Dizzy back ready to go again. So you can cycle that into main, although it leaves those windows where G2 can creep up, just like they have here. Orb goes down on the Leaf.
But a lot harder to time than something like a Sova Dart or a Breach Stun that has a full 45 seconds on the recharge.
And honestly, the amount of information Sentinels have to play with on this defense is insane. If this camera remains untouched, Sentinels will have free reign because Dizzy can cycle over on the A side. KO is going to have his knife every 40 seconds. Late in the round, you just hold on to that. And if G2 ever try to exec, you just throw that up against the wall in a main, and they're never bursting out of the choke.
So where did G2 want to end this round? They'll group back towards A. And likely just continue the theme of these slow contact plays.
Sentinels are playing pretty passively here.
Revealing area.
Saucy's got just about everything. That's a fun little dart going on in. Oh, wow.
30 seconds left.
Spam not going to connect from Saucy. But again, this comp is about retakes. Another 5v5 post plant.
Valen scouting out towards spawn there, doesn't see anyone, so maybe worried about a potential flank. No, they've got a camera that should make sure there's no gaps on that one. They need to center this fight around shop. They've got two players, Leaf and Trent, ready to choke out Sentinels when they come through here.
Util coming in for Sentinels. The flash is over the top. Second into the site. Leaf is so blind, but Trent has a cheeky angle. Only goes for one. Stotzi activates, finds two, kills this retake. Is so clean. The fish is finally in. They didn't even need it. Beauty from Sentinels.
Sentinels were one of the first teams to be playing this map after it came out, and they were showing us what became the meta very quickly. The breach, the fade, the raise, comboing off of that. It's so good to see their first showing here on the VCT stage of this map. A very different look, a very different read, comboing the KO and the Gecko. Kaplan been in the labs cooking this one up, and it's fantastic to see now.
Josh RT gonna hit the timeout here. G2 very quickly running out of chances.
They have not won a round yet on this half. And I genuinely think their comp is outmatched in the post plants. What do? If you play off site, you are going to get smoked out and you don't have flashes to get back in. That's not looking good. If you play on site, you're getting flash comboed, paranoia, everything's unloaded on you. It's not realistically possible. Maybe you can play around your wall, your Viper wall, your cage is something, but even pushing towards the enemy spawn is hard because again, you don't have many flashes, you just have the paranoia. So everything revolves around them taking relatively even or gunfights because they can't help support each other. They have to do it through their mechanics and their fundamentals and their spacing. And that's tough at the highest level.
It is really difficult. If you give Sentinels the time to set up, to play these set retakes, it is bound for failure. They absolutely need to disrupt them, break this streak. But this round, not really the one to do so. Just some stingers invested.
Obligatory shout out to Jonah P on the Sheriff. It's not quite the Guardian, but that's about the only hope I give them here. Good scouting early on from Sentinels, spots out both the Sova and the Cypher.
And I mean, you're even just seeing on these anti-egos what's so impressive about this comp. Before it even gets to the retakes, they have utility they can invest to fight into either main to really heavily get information on their on the side their Cypher isn't at, and then they have recharges by the time they're retaking.
There is exactly one 1v1 they're giving on the map, and that's the Omen. There were 3 players over in Market, and Cypher's just playing off of his trips. Like, you're always walking into an unfair fight, and Ten's the only guy who takes the one. Of course he's gonna get his.
Yeah, if the only 1v1 is against Ten's, like,
it's cooked.
Tough to win that. They'll get the plant in, but there should be no way they get around out of this one. That util combo is disgusting. 2 flashes in at the same time. Jonah overwhelmed. Sentinels take the lead.
Obviously, G2 hoping to win this map, but it's time to talk the worst case scenario for
Hit the
G2.
panic button.
Hit the panic button. If G2 lose out from here, it's still underneath the round differential, right? 8 to 13 finish would only be 5 separating them. And if they got some 13-0s and some 13-1s, it keeps them in the picture.
So you mean to tell me, if they lost out from here, they would only have 3 rounds to lose in the next 2 maps?
Yes.
They have to win.
Bad.
They have to win.
Bad.
And that means this round is critical. Big ults online. Showstopper. Zekin into mid. He's taken down. That is the first advantage G2 has had in a long time, but there's another fight coming.
They're still going. They're still going.
He's going to get overwhelmed here. Teleport out. Leaf, Showstopper, connection through, but he still finds one! And Sassy's just gunning them down in main! Only 2 left alive! And look how aware Sassy is. He's ready for the player through mid. Jonas taken care of, and Trent is again alone. 1v3, an ult in his face. There is not a chance in hell. That was the round.
It was the round. It was the swing round. It was the ult round. It was Sen going up to 10. And it worked out. The opening was perfect, right, for G2. They kill Zekin. But then 10 somehow blasts Leaf out of the sky. Saucy swings into the fight like an absolute madman. Who does that? His teammate dies. He's already on the ground. He's cold. And Saucy's going back in for 2.
Walk through mid for G2. Does Zekin get flashed through the smoke? Celsius is ready for it, but they're gonna come to him instead. It's a 1-for-1 trade out. But John Sentinels is always so apt to find these trades.
It's because they have so much information. They're playing like it's unfair. It's 5v2. It's 5v2. Every single fight is a numbers advantage because they just know exactly what's happening on the map.
And rewind that round to start off. They're cycling a Dizzy A. They know that A main is clear. They have trips up on B, so they're fully understanding that this is likely to be a play through mid and are ready to punish that.
And look, G2, they actually got into the smoke. They almost had the narrowest margin to actually get in there. But it doesn't matter.
That was a chance. And it's now gone.
Thrash is ready.
And he gets Thrash.
Brutal.
Sentinels, you can see Thrash available, Null Command available. Next round
30
looking
seconds
even
left.
tougher. And that'll be the buy again for G2.
I love the way Sen is playing this defense. When they're in this man-up situation, they're fully condensing this map. No one is in any position where they're giving a disadvantageous fight, even an even fight.
Kaplan with a full offseason to work with this team and bring them under the Kaplan spell, the magic of him. He has put together the most well-drilled Sentinel squad I have ever seen.
Great Thrash will detain Net. He should have no way to escape this one. And his poor teammate Fallon only has 14 HP to work with. John's holding the line. It was only a matter of time. 11-8 now. Sentinels, indomitable on defense.
And I don't know, you can't help but get a little bit excited about Sentinels. Every single fight, very high percentage that they're taking and looking good in it.
Remember, this is just kickoff. This is the beginning for this team, and they're already showing us new creative comps. This is not the Sentinels of last season that was always playing from behind.
This is also a Sentinels that was in the absolute group of death, right? Like, it couldn't get harder. Anyone else the teams for me?
Yeah, I mean, Loud.
Yeah, that's bad news. That's also bad news.
It's brutal.
Yeah. And they were able to take down
even just those two were the top 2 teams people were saying that are going to be the best in the league.
And honestly, I thought 100 Thieves was playing fantastic VALORANT. Like,
I mean, they pick up a world champion.
Yeah, that group was so hard for them. And they did get through close matches all the way. It's looking like another close one here, but this second half has been lights out from them.
We're approaching last chances here for G2 on this first map.
I feel like this music is a little bit too chill for what's happening.
Sentinels is vibing with it.
Yeah, Sentinels feeling real good. G2, their nails must be bitten all the way down. You know, it's starting to slip.
Remember, they just came off a heartbreaking loss against MIBR. Yeah. It is very rare that in Tier 1, you have to play back-to-back matches.
It never happens in VCT. It's also, they won in OT. They came back in that split map. They almost didn't even have a shot here. It was almost MIBR with a chance. But they earned it for them, and now they have to push it that one step further. They've got ults. Jonah P ready to unleash that Hunter's Fury. but Sentinels getting aggro.
It's a pinch into their spawn. Zekin connects the double off the rocket. They can't get you break. Sentinels is running them over at every turn. That was out of G2's paws. They haven't slowed down for an iota of time. 5v1 for Trent. This is just so different from what we've seen before from Sentinels.
G2 are looking shell-shocked, and you could not look at two teams with a different read on the map. G2, play slow, stall, and Sentinels came in, go, go, go. Not a moment to breathe. A timeout, the only respite, and the 30 seconds after your team's been wiped.
We need to get a flawless round tally going here. It seems like half of this defensive side has been rounds just like that.
The fans certainly know what's happening. Eight in a row. G2 had a great first half, 8 rounds themselves. Now they've got a battle back. Jonah P, the legendary Guardian in his hands. But once again, Sentinels, heavy stack over towards B. They are ready to fight around this area if G2 decide to commit in. That said, maybe Valen can get a little bit loose with it. Do we see a deep flank TP with the Omen? Do we see Net and Trent try to do something towards the A site? So far, it's been 30 seconds and nothing. Droning into the site, looking to break down that camera, but they can't find it. He hasn't clicked in, and the flash coming back from Boba means that they will never break that camera. 40 seconds now gone on the round, and the information still stands. Only now broken from them, but Celsius has the null command ready for the pre-take. They're not gonna let G2 plant the spike. G2 need to activate these two players in A. They have got to do something because right now they have been stuck here, getting hit by info cycle after info cycle. Sentinels ready to pounce on them.
Grenade!
G2 start to hit. When is the flood going to come? It's only a matter of time. For Sentinels send their wave back.
They're going to A with a spike. They're going to A with a spike. Those two players there. They heard Sentinels rotate out, but they're still hanging around. Tens finds his first, and there's still Saucy back in spawn.
Saucy, he's gotten a kill. G2, they have a player already late on this flank. Hunter's Fury is being popped. Jonah will try and defend his teammate. What can he get done with it? He buys time for Net.
The spike goes down. There's a camera that will see these two players. G2 need to get out in front of this fight. Sentinels are already on the defuse. Net finds 3, but they're sticking it through. They take it all the way.
Sentinels, 13-8. What a performance. They debut a new comp on Sunset, a new style of play, a completely different read than their opponent, and they dominate. Every one of those combos looked so perfectly drilled. And I mean, technically a Red Bull clutch to end it.
Just sticking it through at the finish. Simply ridiculous. An incredible map. I mean, the first half, every round so close. But Sentinels and the crowd here rode the wave on defense. They didn't give G2 a moment to breathe.
They absolutely did not. Sentinels looked excellent in that one. And G2, I mean, that entire first half, so many moments where it looked possible, where they looked good, up 8-4 to start, and then it slipped away.
Sentinels surprising with the new comp. Not surprising with the discipline, not surprising with the skill. They dominated map 1.
That they did, and we've received word that that's done enough, that the round differential has gotten them to the point where Sentinels has qualified into the playoffs. But it's not done yet. We still have a rest of the series. We're still playing it out for fun. Map 2 after this.